We're going to showcase all the great things about Canada, like the environmental protections and gun control and the great healthcare system. And I'm like, great. And I had like one paragraph, like one mini monologue saying all that. And then the rest were like, oh yeah, eh?
It is continuing today with a marvelously talented actress. She has performed in everything from comedy, in How I Met Your Mother, action in Stumptown and Jack Reacher film, and also the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Let's welcome Cobie Smulders. Thank you for...
I see what you did with Marvelous.
Did you see what I did there? Look, I'm not even a dad, but I make old dad jokes, so we're just going to have to get used to that.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you for doing all
How's it going? How's the day? What did we buy? What did we wear?
Are you seeing Maria Hill cosplay? Are you seeing?
I did just meet a Maria.
Okay.
She looked fantastic, and I have... I got to see one Robin Sparkles.
Wow, okay. So
but I know there's a second one out there, and I'm just waiting to meet her.
This is a good day for you, then.
It's a good day for me.
Yes. So you're here all weekend. Okay, so born in Vancouver, British Columbia, correct? Okay. Your mom is British.
No applause. There's not. Oh, there we go. There's not a Canadian in this room. I don't believe it.
Your mom is British.
Yes.
Okay.
You did your research.
I do a lot. I have a lot of free time, as it turns out, to do these things. Go figure. One has a podcast, one has a lot of free time.
Yes.
But can you, I believe there's an interesting story of how your mom got to...
Oh, I love
How I Met Your Mother. How your mom got to Vancouver, British Columbia. Can you tell us that?
Thank you.
It can't be as crazy as it sounds, is it?
It is. I mean, you guys tell me. Thank you for asking this question, and I hope it's interesting for everybody, because it's a really interesting sort of family story. But my mother was very adventurous in her youth, and she was, when she was about 20, she was working in, get in here. If you want to sit down, get comfortable. Don't be weird. She was working in Abu Dhabi, and she was crewing on a boat. And one day, that boat caught fire, and it sank. And she was in a lifeboat. And she was picked up by the U.S. Navy, who the next port that they went to was in Vancouver. And that's how I became a Canadian.
It is as interesting as I thought it would be.
It's wild.
There's a story. There's a movie in there. Like maybe you.
Yeah, I mean,
your
it
own
is.
Mom or something, or
sorry.
So you could produce a movie and like play your own mom or something.
Yeah, I know. That's very meta. That would be really interesting. It's an interesting thing because my mom is like so not that woman anymore. Like it's funny to be like, I don't know if in your life, but like thinking of your parents as like young people having adventures is
like Back
weird.
To the Future. Yeah, it's like the whole Back to the Future thing.
Exactly.
You're like, no, I know my mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
It's strange for us in our family to be like, you were working on a boat? Like, what is that world?
How does that happen? Right.
Yeah.
How does that, like, who does that?
I know. I guess she did. She did.
There's a microphone over here, so if you all have questions.
Drop some beats.
Yeah, if you guys want to get line. While we're getting that line going and you think of your questions, what kind of kid were you growing up? Like, we love the comic booky stuff and we love all the pop culture stuff that you're into now and doing those things. But was that you kind of growing up? What were you gravitating towards?
No, I was very shy. I was very sporty. I played soccer for about 13 years.
Oh, wow.
And I come from a very big family. My parents had 4 children, and then my father remarried, and my stepmother had 4 children. So there's 8 of us all together. So it's a lot of siblings. And so, I think when you grow up in a big family, there's not any space. You don't get enough attention. So it's probably why I'm here right now. If you want to get into it.
If we had a couch, we could do.
Let's get into the psychology. Yeah, let's get into my childhood issues.
No problem.
I was very quiet and kind of, I discovered theater when I was in high school, and I went to a performing arts high school for my senior years, for grade 10 through 12. And really like found my love for it then. But before then, you couldn't get me to be talking in front of people at all. So it's sort of something that came to me in my teen years.
Why do you think that was that you, I mean, just shyness? Was it before that? Or was it?
I don't like attention. I don't,
Because
I
you're a
know
model,
it's
and I
very,
heard you didn't
I
like
know
having
it's
your picture
very, I don't
taken,
like having my picture taken. I know, it's very weird because I'm here today. But I know nobody here really knows me, but I'm a very like normal, like just down to earth person, and I sort of find elements of my job strange. But
Does celebrity kind of freak you out? Does a lot of that?
I don't.
Or are you just sort of getting used to it by now?
I honestly don't put myself in that category. I live a very boring life.
Really?
I have this amazing job where I get to pretend to be other people.
Okay.
And I think that was the draw for me, more than the fame element of it. I think it was, for me, it was really cool to just pretend to be somebody else for a while.
I've heard that from actors, because sometimes they're one way, and then all of a sudden they realize you could get paid to be somebody else and go into another life and just channel that into something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And also you get free food at work.
That helps. That always helps.
Like the food is free, and it's a huge perk.
Correct me if I'm wrong on this. Not unlike Seinfeld's George Costanza, you have an affinity for marine biology?
I did, yeah. I was actually set to go to the University of Victoria, which is up in Canada, and was going to study marine biology.
Where did that come from? Like,
I'm like a freak for the ocean. I grew up in Vancouver, right on the shore, and spent my summers in it. And just it's my happy place is when I'm scuba diving or under the water. So it's always been a draw for me, and I love. There's so much to be discovered in that world.
Yeah.
There's so much that is unknown, and so that was really like the path I was going to take. And then that summer, I just met some wild actor friends. I was like, this seems like a lot of fun, and you guys are doing this like for your job.
Wow. That's a shift from marine biology.
It was a big shift, but I still work with this amazing organization called Oceana. They do a lot of protection of different
it's like for overfishing
habitats.
And things like that.
Yeah, they do a lot with legislation. Sorry, I've been talking too much today. And so that's like sort of my way into the world, and at least trying to do a part to preserve.
You got to do some of that, right? You did scuba diving, and you got to get some things for research.
Yeah.
Okay,
We did a lot of we did a project for offshore drilling off of the coast of Belize, and we managed to put a stop to that. So that was cool.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah. So it all worked out, all came full circle. All right, let's take some of your questions here. If you want to tell us
the first one. No pressure, bro. No pressure.
Now I want to ask a question about flotilla blockades, but I'm not going to do that.
Give us your name and tell us where you're from.
I'm from New Haven.
Okay. I don't think this mic is on. I can hear you, but I don't think everyone else can. You've got to project.
Can you hear? Yeah,
yeah, that's better. There we go.
So I have an interior design question about two specific props.
Okay.
Either you or Josh have the blue French horn.
You know what? I think Carter Bays has the blue French horn, who's one of the creators of our show. I know, yeah.
And then the second one is the robot. Did he get forgotten about after all?
Oh, yeah, unfortunately. But he always does, so he's used to it. Okay. Yeah. Should we keep going?
Yeah,
let's keep going.
Yeah, let's take a few more.
Hi.
Hi, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
All in Pennsylvania. From
Wonderful.
Pennsylvania.
Nice to meet you.
What was your first impression when, the writers came to you with the idea that they were going to create Robin Sparkles?
It was sort of like, what? I'm not a singer. I mean, I can sing. I'm not going to get up on stage and do it, So it was sort of surprising. I mean, they did also curveball me with turning Robin into a Canadian. Because they were like, you're Canadian, and we just think that, like, being a Canadian is really exotic. And I was like, wow. Have you been to my country? Like, what? about a Canadian is exotic to you. And so I think when I reflect on that show, one of the great things about it was they were constantly coming up with challenges. And that was a really wonderful challenge. And like, I think when you think of a sitcom, it could be really kind of vanilla and basic, and let's keep to the format. And they kept pushing things creatively so far, and that was an example of it. So my answer to your question is like, yeah, I was like really surprised and really like honored, and really grateful that we could record it in a sound studio so they could go, to just adjust the pitch that she gave us. But it was wonderful. It was a gift.
All right,
yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
While we're waiting for the next question, I got to ask you about, my wife and I are doing, and Tom Welling's here.
Yes.
You know that?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're doing the Smallville rewatch along with the guys watching these
How many
episodes.
seasons did they do?
10 seasons.
Wow,
So I think the
jeez.
guys are up to season 5 or something. But we're watching the episode, and we're watching Cobie Smulders.
Yeah.
Cobie Smulders is on this episode.
Yeah, I was just talking to Tom, and I was like,
Okay.
I don't think we were in a scene together, because I was sort of like the B
It was the whole
story.
Lex thing, yeah.
Yeah.
You were doing a lot of stuff with Lex,
I
but
was
it
bad.
was
I
like
was bad in that one, right? Not
You
like
were-
acting. Like I was like a bad person.
were bad,
I
yeah.
might have also been acting bad.
it seemed like he had murdered you in the beginning, and it turns out you were the one. Spoiler alert, she's the one.
Okay. Do you want to know something about that? Do you want to know a story? It might not make
Anything
any
you got about
interesting.
Smallville, we'll take, because
So I grew up in Vancouver. Smallville was shot there for all 10 seasons,
Right.
and I'm desperate to get on the show. I'm like new actor trying to break in, and I moved to LA, and I get hired for Smallville in Vancouver. So I go back to Vancouver, and I get this job, and it's an intense role. It's like a nice, fun, meaty, dramatic role. And I was dating this guy at the time, and I was staying at his place because I didn't live in Vancouver anymore, and my alarm did not go off that morning.
Oh, no.
And I woke up, and I think I was supposed to be picked up at 5:30 or something. And I woke up, and it was 7:30, and I was like, oh, no! It was just panic, and rushed and got there, and it was just you just feel like such a jerk. And so that is my takeaway of the show, is just me going
Oversleeping.
what a nightmare. What a nightmare.
But
But it worked out. It was all okay.
Did you have a good time on the set? I mean, did you have a good time filming?
I had a
Yeah,
great
know it's going
time.
back
Yeah,
a
Michael
ways,
is
but-
wonderful. I think I spent most of my time with Michael. I think I
Yeah.
maybe only worked with Michael. So,
Okay.
but the crew was lovely, and he was lovely.
And that led to How I Met Your Mother, right? It almost
I don't
wasn't
know
long right after that.
timeline-wise. I think there might have been a year in between. There used to be this thing. It's not really it doesn't really exist anymore. But there used to be a pilot season where every
Right.
year all the networks would have 10 pilots each, and you'd go on auditions, and you just fight each other to get on a pilot.
Okay.
And so I think that might have been the season before,
Okay.
the pilot season before.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I was just curious if somebody had seen that.
No,
It's
I don't
such a standout
think.
episode. And it was
Well, I'm
okay.
glad you think so, but I don't
Yeah.
think. I think Carter and Craig, who I just it's just so much. So much of this business is just being in the right place at the right time.
Happenstance.
It's 80% luck.
Okay.
And you just have to be ready to shoot your shot when it comes to
Okay,
you.
I was just
Yeah.
curious if one led to the other. I'm taking
Yeah.
another question.
I love your costume, by the way.
Thank you. So I have a Marvel question, duh. No spoilers, but if anyone that saw Secret Invasion,
If you haven't seen it by now, that's on you.
so are you done, or do you think if they call you back, would you go back?
I mean, yeah, of course I would. Yeah, I don't know. I think that there's so many things going on that are, there's so many different storylines. And so of course I would love to go back, but I have no idea what they have in store for the future of Marvel or my character at this point. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that because, and we're going to talk about Maria Hill today too, but it's when did you find out? Spoiler alert, she doesn't make it past the first episode. So, I mean, just again, if you haven't seen it.
She did.
She did?
She did.
Oh, she did.
She did.
I was going to say, yeah. So I think, I can speak as a fanboy. I can speak for, some people out there, I guess, but that sucked. That really, okay. I mean, yay, we get a TV show, Marvel TV show. And no, Sam Jackson's in it, it's cool. But I think we grew to love that character so much, and there was so much backstory that we don't know. I mean, she could have her own series. When did you find out about what they were doing, and were you okay with it? I mean, you can't be okay with it, but I mean...
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I did my first Marvel movie when I was 25.
2012, so you
all
shot
right.
it in
Nice
2011.
job. Nice job,
yeah.
Bates. You know, I've been in so many films. I've been in, you know, Maria Hill is animated. You know, like I only feel gratitude towards the people at Marvel because I have had such a fun journey.
Yeah.
And for me, I knew, to answer your question, I knew right away when they called me. And to me, that show is about Sam's character. It's Sam's show.
Yeah.
And
But you could, I mean, there could have been like a, you know, blinking at the end, you know what I mean? Like, it's normal. Like, they could have twitched a finger or something, like, just to...
yeah, it's,
like,
you know, it's so much,
anything.
it's their call,
I
it's
know.
their world, it's their, you know, we're just living in it until we don't.
And you given Maria a backstory, like when you got the role, 'cause I think you had mentioned in other interviews too, like you, not that it was necessarily on screen or anything, but did you kind of give her a backstory as an actress?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think when you're given a role, even in this world, I mean, especially when you're playing somebody who is in service, if they're an officer, a police officer, like it takes the journey to get to that place is such a long road.
Right.
And so I think initially when I did the first Marvel, when I did the first Avengers, there was, like I hired this guy who like trains SWAT teams because like I was uncomfortable holding a gun and I didn't really like know how to do that. I'd never done that. And
Right.
I'm supposed to be a professional.
The best, yeah.
So I kind of took that upon myself to do that kind of training, which did benefit me in the film because I was able. They're like, "Could you do something here?" I was like, "I got it."
Oh, wow.
So I took that, and then with each. I think that the interesting thing that happened throughout from film to film is a conversation about stakes. Because you have to understand, like, when you're trying to portray a realistic situation within that world, it can be quite challenging because you're like, well, there were aliens before and now there's Skrulls. So like, are we more like, do we understand it? Is there like you have to try to understand the world and it's very hard to. And like the Spider-Man Far From Home is a good example where like the villain in that was more surreal and then I wasn't really me.
It wasn't you. That's what I said. Like, did you play it? Did you play it?
No, I didn't know that until the end, until like we had finished shooting.
When you shot the whole thing, you thought you were playing Maria. And then when did you, when you saw the theater and there's a post-credits scene?
No, they let me know. They were like, just so you know, we've made this, we're going to do this.
But that was at the end?
I mean, I don't know when they shot it, but it was after I had completed work.
But they wanted you to channel where you were going with Maria. Just
they wanted me to play, like, even if it was like, even if I knew the whole time, I think we still would be playing the reality of the day-to-day.
Got it.
You know?
Because you may have done something to tip us off. And it would work.
Exactly. We don't want to do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think we just want more.
Well, I really appreciate that. I mean,
because you could do a series, like a prequel series.
Sure, let's pitch it.
Okay. This afternoon, you guys?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's call Kevin.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's wonderful to hear, and it's very like heartwarming when I do hear people say that, and when I was feeling that sort of when the episode happened, like because I think she is such a wonderful character, and I think she is so integral, and I think she is. I always find it interesting to be playing like with me and Clark and all these people like who have now like moved on or whatever, but like to play a human in that world I've always found really interesting because you're choosing to really put yourself at risk, so it was a wonderful however many years I did it. I feel so grateful for it, and it was a blast, a total blast.
And Coulson came back.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Right? And he didn't want to die, so he said, I don't want to die, and they brought him back and gave him a TV show.
Yeah, I guess it's that simple. I guess I've been doing this all wrong.
So you need to start pounding some desks. Yeah, we'll take another fan question. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Angie from the Christmas town of Connecticut. And
hi, Angie.
Hi.
I know Angie.
Yes. So I guess part of my question might have already been answered already, but if you could do a prequel series or an origin story or a backstory of any of your characters, which one would it be and why?
Ooh, yeah. I mean, I think it's got to be Hill because I think there's something so fascinating about a woman in that world. I think that the training, the mentality, I feel like there's probably a familial connection to her father being in the service, or, I feel like there's a really interesting world there with like new young recruits coming in. So that would be good. I wouldn't mind seeing Robin in like the Canadian woods too, though, just running. I think we did something, right? You guys probably know better than I, but no, not sandcastles in the sand, but there was like a flashback to like me and my dad on a helicopter.
He pushes her out the helicopter.
Yeah, and he pushes me out of the helicopter. He's like, good luck. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Maybe that is Maria's origin.
Yeah, maybe that is.
Wow.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, like a survivor
multiverse.
situation.
Now we're into the multiverse.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Angie.
Take another question.
Good afternoon, Cobie. Thank you for coming to Terrificon. We appreciate it.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Velvet Joker here. I was curious, as an actor or actress, how your performance is really dependent on who you're playing against. So if you had the choice, Samuel L. Jackson, 3 names, Neil Patrick Harris, 3 names, which one would it be, and who gives you the most?
I mean, they're so different. I mean, I was in love with Neil for a few years, on and off screen. And it's more of a romantic situation. And Sam is this like really wonderful, warm, generous sort of guide. It has been to me for the last 10 years. You know these numbers. I don't know these numbers. So it's really hard. I mean, I think that they're categorized perfectly. For my time on How I Met Your Mother, Neil was like just the best partner. And for my time in Marvel, Sam was the best guide.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
But you got them both beat in the amount of names department.
Oh, my name's Jane?
Yeah, you got them both beat on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jacoba Francisca Maria Smulders is my full legal name. And I don't like attention.
You don't like to have your picture taken. I got to ask you about Stumptown, too.
Yeah. Okay, Dex.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I know, you're great at action. So you had to have you had to have an amazing time on that series. What are your memories of working on some of the favorite memories of working on that series? And then obviously, can we get more? Is there, I mean, I know it was such a weird thing because I think it was renewed for season 2, if I'm not mistaken. And then COVID hit. Screwed the whole world up. But then it was like, oh, we can't get things started again, and it just sort of got canceled. So, anyway, just if you could just give us a little bit of stuff.
Yeah, in terms of the first question, I mean, we just had such a wonderful cast. We just had such a great group of people, and that was wonderful. And it was just really great to play like a messy, drunken, bisexual woman on network TV. Like, it was just great. And I like playing characters that are complicated, that are figuring it out, like we all are. And so that was really cool. And the action was really fun. It's really hard to maintain like good like quality action in a series. It's really hard because you're like rehearsing the stunts while you're shooting the previous episode. You're just like it's a marathon for sure. But we had some great guest stars. Ioana Sky came in and played like an ex-girlfriend of mine, and she's this like amazing musician. And Ioana Gidka. Sorry, I said wrong last name. And that was a great episode, but it was just like a fun adventure. And again, we took a lot of creative liberties, which was really fun.
It was based on a graphic novel. Did you dig through, was there anything you could pull from the graphic novel?
I mean, the graphic novel is the reason I said yes to doing the show, because I love Greg Rucka's work so much, and it was already such a fully formed story.
Right.
The character was already so alive from the comic books that it felt like a really easy role to step into. And so I mean, that's the reason I said, like, yeah, I think I have to do the show, because it's just like, I love this character so much.
Were there any lines or like any, like sometimes there's a panel, like an iconic panel in a comic book, especially when you do Marvel, different things. Was there anything that you looked in a comic? Because I think earlier Matt Ryan was saying something about Constantine and he wanted like this image for his last shot going on. Was there anything from the comic book that you took, or was like, hey guys, can I walk out of the room this way or something? Or
yeah, I mean, obviously the familial unit, which was Dex and her younger brother, was a big carryover from the comic books, and that was important to me because I liked the idea that this woman who is probably not interested in having children was kind of raising somebody.
Right.
So I liked that and it was important to me that was alive in the show.
Okay.
And in terms of it coming back, I don't think it is. You know, they picked it up and then they said, I think it was just such a hard time to get things made. It was so expensive to shoot anything. Everybody was masked. There were so many protocols. Everyone was testing. I mean, it was just like, it was was
you shooting
bonkers.
Scenes with plexiglass?
We didn't even get to that. We kind of, we hired some new writers, and we were like, kind of like getting ready to start writing the season. And then, and
so
then
they hadn't even broken
they
season
changed.
2 yet.
No,
Wow.
no.
Is there an interest in doing that? Like because there's so many streaming services. I mean, you would think it could find a home.
I think it's been too long. I think it would be hard to get that group of people back together again.
Okay.
I think that maybe if they wanted to like recreate it and redo it, maybe. I mean, but that is a trope. Like, what was Natasha's show, Poker Face? Like, it's a version of that, you know. And there's a new show on ABC called High Potential with Caitlin Olsen. That's like very much like female, messy lead investigator,
right.
you know.
Okay.
And so it's like it is certainly. It is a trope that will live on. It is a story that will be continued to be told. But
Okay. Just didn't know if there was any movement in that direction.
No, not at the
it was so
moment,
interesting, and it was so sucked how it
Yeah.
ended, because it was only because of COVID. It wasn't because there wasn't an interest in it.
Yeah.
You can take another question?
Yeah. Hi.
Hello again.
Hello,
My
good to
name's
see you.
Dick from Peabody, Massachusetts, and I have a feeling you already answered this question, but I hope you don't mind.
I'll give another answer, and I won't tell you which one is true.
Thank you. When filming How I Met Your Mother, did you ever find any of the Canadian jokes offensive, or were you able to find the comic tone side of it?
You know what we do really well is laugh at ourselves. And we had a writer on set, Chuck Tatham, who was from Ontario, but I'm not going to hold that against him. And so he was responsible for the jokes, and I loved it. I mean, I thought it was like, I think it's just, it's been my life, especially as a Canadian who I moved to the United States when I was 19. And so I've always kind of had it, and I think that we're a very humble, like we have a lot of humility as Canadians, so we're kind of cool with it. I think what I found frustrating is like when they pitch it to me, they're like, it's so great because we're going to showcase all the great things about Canada, like the environmental protections and gun control and the great healthcare system, and I'm like, great, and I had like one paragraph, like one mini monologue saying all that, and then the rest were like, oh yeah, eh? I'm like, okay, I get it. But no, I didn't take it personally. It was fun for me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, nice to see you again.
Speaking of Canada, are you doing an animated series?
Yes!
You are?
I can't wait for it to come out. I don't know if you are Canadian, it's going to hit you hard.
Like Mackenzie Brothers, Strange Brewheart, like that kind of humor?
It is just, it's called Super Team Canada. I always drop the super, but it's important.
Super Team Canada.
Super Team Canada. Will Arnett is in it, and he's producing it. And Rob Cohen and his brothers, I can't remember his brother's name right now, wrote it. And it is just like... It is so funny. It's so ridiculous. And I play Niagara Falls, who is a woman who has the power of water, obviously.
Okay.
And it's just, I can't wait to see it. I haven't anticipated something like this in so long because it's, for me, there's an entire episode. This will clue into how many of you actually this is for you too. There's a whole episode that takes place on Prince Edward Island because the Anne of Green Gables Museum is under attack. Is anybody with me?
Wow.
Raise your hand.
Fantastic.
One woman in.
That is
okay,
fantastic.
we got a few. So that's the premise of an entire episode, and I'm like, that is for me.
It just
that
has
is
to be
like
completely
written
Canadian.
for me.
Yeah.
My generation. Like it hits so hard for me.
Oh, you were an Anne of Green Gables fan?
I was. I still am.
Okay.
But the OG, like the Megan Fellows one.
Right.
Let's not get in any of this Anne with an E garbage. I got to be old school on that.
Have you been to the museum? Have you done the whole museum? You've done the whole experience? Because my wife and I was talking about going in and just doing that whole experience.
It's so beautiful out there anyway. I just shot a movie in Nova Scotia last winter, and that was like the closest I got.
Okay.
And I was like, you guys.
Yeah.
We're in Nova Scotia. Like, we're so close to Anne of Green Gables. And everyone's like,
Just
like,
didn't work.
No.
Oh.
It just hit me, it just hit me. So it was just like maybe the only VHS we had in my house. Like, it was just one of those, and it just really stayed with me.
PBS all the time too. And it
I
was
think
just like,
so.
we
I
just
think it
caught
was a
on
made-for-TV situation.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
It's so good.
So
Colleen
the
Dewhurst, get out of here. It's just so good.
So how far along is the animated series? Like, have
It's
you done?
done.
It is
I'm done. Sorry. I'm done I'm done the voices. I think they're just, animation takes a while. So I think they're,
Okay.
I don't know. I think they made it, it's on Crave, I think, in Canada. And I hope it comes down here somehow. I don't know how, but it's coming out. I don't know.
So this
Hopefully
might be a
this year.
Canadian thing, but we might be able to see it in the
Yeah,
States
you ever
or
heard of
something.
Schitt's Creek? Do you remember that show? That was a Canadian
Well, let's
thing.
hope it blows up and then it
translates
comes in.
sometimes,
Yes.
guys.
Let's hope it blows up and comes down.
Yeah, it's so Canadian, though. It's very, like, the references are just so Canadian.
But it's almost like every stereotype that we can imagine of just everything. Or
Yeah, like, I think the superheroes are like Sasquatch, like... there's a hockey player, there's Niagara Falls, there's, I can't remember the other ones, but it's very, very on the nose.
And Will Arnett's driving the bus on this? Is he?
He's producing and he plays the hockey player.
Okay. Maybe even a live action version of it. That maybe
Sure.
translates into
I
live action.
loved your enthusiasm for my career.
We just want more movies and television shows from you. That's all we want.
I really appreciate it.
It's quite all right. I do what I can.
Hello.
Howdy. I saw an interview a while back with Josh Radnor who said that obviously you all messed with each other on set, and one of the things he pointed out was that right before action was called on one of yours and Ted's post-coital scenes, you would whisper to Josh all the horrible things that you guys had done in bed. And I was A, wondering if you could confirm that, and B, what you did what he did to get back at you for messing up his take every time, as he put it.
I can confirm that is true. I won't say what I said. But he would never get back on me because he's a pacifist. And he would just go beet red and not be able to really start it. So then eventually I would not
Which
have
meant
to
you
do
kept
it.
doing it more.
Yeah, you poke the bear once, and you keep going because it's just so fun. But he didn't really, he wasn't like a prankster in that way. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
The next question?
Hi.
Hello.
I wake up. Cobie Smulders, I presume?
Yes, I am.
I have a question for you.
Let me hear it.
Okay. how did you get the role of Wonder Woman in the Legos movie?
That's a great question.
Nice question.
So Chris Miller and Phil Lord were writers on the first season of How I Met Your Mother. And went on to do a few small indie projects. They actually left our show to do Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. And we were like, you're crazy. This is insane. This is a stable job. We have you for the whole season, you know? And they were like, got to do this thing, which thank goodness they did. And they just asked me to do it. There's no real story there, but we were just buds. And I think, you know, being an actor, an actress at that time when like things were like Wonder Woman was talking about being made and I have brown hair and blue eyes, I think that I just kind of got put in that category, and they were kind enough to let me do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You heard it, but right. Do the Invisible Cat. Dang it.
Sorry?
Do the Invisible Cat.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that was a fun line.
Dang it.
Yeah, dang it. Yes, yeah, exactly. That was a really fun line.
Was that whole Wonder Woman thing, was that around like the Joss Whedon time when he was like Avengers and
yeah, I think he was slotted to do that at some point.
Yeah, so your name was coming up in the mix too. And
yeah, again, I think it's just like, same with like Maria Hill. Like when I auditioned for Maria Hill, it was like me and like 6 other women that we all like kind of were the same type.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was that process like for you for auditioning for Maria Hill? Had you been a comic book fan? Had you?
I married one.
Well, yeah. Okay. So immediately it was like, okay, here's the comics.
Well, the interesting thing.
Here's research.
Yeah,
material.
he definitely helped with that. But when I auditioned for it, I wasn't even told who I was auditioning for.
Right. They just gave
it was like an
signs.
agent.
Yeah.
And my husband was convinced. He's like, it's the Wasp. It's gotta be the Wasp. And I was like, I gotta look that up. Who's the Wasp?
Right. You're like, I have no idea what that is, right?
And I don't even think I knew who it was until, so sorry, you asked the process. So I went in and I auditioned. And Joss was kind enough to sort of like write a full scene for audition purposes, because a lot of it is, you know, the actual movie is a lot of like action based and it's sort of hard to like get a feel for the character. So I auditioned and they said, move on to the next step. And then I think I wasn't able actually to move to the next step, but because I knew some of the people involved on the project, I got to just go and do a read with Sam. And so I did that, and I really didn't think I did well. I really was like, okay, I didn't like embarrass myself, but I did not.
How do you do that read with Samuel L. Jackson at that time? Because that had to be. I mean, you don't know the character you're playing. Right,
no,
at that point.
I think I did. By the time I went in, I went to read with Sam, they were like, it's an agent called Agent Maria Hill.
Okay, so
like,
now you know,
okay.
like,
yeah. You
kind of get the dynamic between.
Yes.
But see, Sam Jackson is so Sam Jackson-y in that Sam Jackson role. It's like you can't. How do you match there? Do you even try? Like, where do you go with that?
Well, I mean,
you got the gig, which we know you did it right.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious how.
I think it's two things. I think it's Sam is such a wonderful human, and I think, you know, in his roles, like which are so diverse, so to speak, to just one way, like he has such a presence in all of his roles. I think I can
large.
say.
He looms large.
Yes. But in person, he's like so kind and so present, and was like, how can I help? And, you know, what do you need? You know, in those moments, especially in like an audition for like sort of a make or break role kind of moment for all of us women, you know? And the second thing is I don't know if I can answer like, how do you just do that and not like have like massive anxiety about it and kind of get through it. I think it's just that muscle of putting yourself in a situation over and over again, which we're sort of asked to do as actors, which you're on the spot. Yeah. And you have to be vulnerable and you have to be okay with that vulnerability. Wow. And just go like, this is an intense moment, and like, let's just kind of move through it. And so I think I've just had to do that so many times in my life
Muscle memory.
that it is just, I'm not saying like I'm nailing it every time, but I think it's just something that you have to just kind of click over and just kind of get through.
No, it's curious because you've described yourself as somebody that doesn't like all the attention and all the picture thing, you know, and I don't want this here. And then all of a sudden it doesn't get any bigger than the Marvel Universe.
Oh,
It
yeah,
doesn't get
for
any
sure.
bigger than the Avengers.
Yeah,
and it's
for
just
sure.
like, where do you challenge to cross
Yeah.
that Rubicon to get over that? And it's like,
I mean,
all right.
here's the thing. It's like, it's so great being like one of the smaller players in that sense. Like I'm in a scene. Yes, I'm in a scene in the first Marvel movie, but like Downey's there.
That's fair.
Both
That's
Chris's
right.
are
Yeah,
there.
the tension is over.
Like, you know, like Scarlett's
Scarlett's over
in there.
here.
And I'm just like, I'm going to say this one line. And then I get
Cool.
to just kind of come back in.
Okay.
And it's kind of wonderful.
Yeah. You get to play in the
Especially
sandbox.
starting out and just being like, this is so intimidating, but to be, you know, to first of all have the front row seat to watch this all play out has been wonderful.
Yeah.
And secondly, like, you know, not all the pressure is on you, you know,
That's
so
huge-
you
okay.
have to kind of get into the like, how do I best serve the story, as opposed to being so not absorbed, but like self-watching to be like, am I doing this right? Did that go, like, I can kind of go like, what's my role? I need to get the information to the audience. And I literally can't mess up these words.
Right.
That's like my job, is just saying words right,
Yes.
you know, and just making sure that the information is given to the audience, and connecting sort of these pieces was always a big role of mine in those films.
That's an interesting take, too, because it is such an ensemble piece. It's almost like, I mean, if you can reduce it down to like a Broadway play or something,
Yeah.
it's like the actors are all here, you're going to go in the back wings and
Yeah.
just read a book or something and then
Yeah.
come back out and
Yeah.
steal a few scenes from
Yeah.
down here or whatever.
I remember I would like show up on these films, and it's like, you know, you always have like a call sheet, and it will say like day 3 of 87, and I'd show up on day 3, and I'd be like, you guys, we're shooting a Marvel movie, this is awesome. And the crew is pumped and everyone was pumped, and then like I would be there for 2 weeks, and then I would go home and be with my family, and I'd be like, I'll see you in like 2 months, and I come back and it's
Day
like
75.
day 75 of like 302, and I'm like, you guys.
Yeah. And they're all exhausted.
And they're like, yeah, we know. We've been here all day.
Yeah.
18 hours a day, Cobie.
Wow.
And I'm like, but it's still really exciting.
Oh, man.
And so it's been such like a pleasure, such a gift. I've enjoyed it so
No, it's cool
much.
for us fans that you have that kind of excitement, and it's
Yeah.
not just hitting your mark and saying your lines, but that you get the whole magnitude of it, and you're jacked about it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nick, take another question. Yeah, we got a couple more.
Sexy bald guy, just another one. Yeah.
There we go. Hey, so I'm TJ from Sherman, Connecticut.
What's up, TJ?
Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. I'm a huge fan of How I Met Your Mother. I got into it probably a little late into the game, but I binge watched it, 3-4 weeks or so to watch it all. I guess my question is about what got me into it was I heard about how controversial the ending was. Mm-hmm. And after watching it all, so I watched it all. I absolutely loved it, of course. And I really enjoyed the ending. I didn't know how you kind of felt about that twist on the end, and how long in advance you guys knew it was going to end that way.
Yeah. I'll answer your last part first. We had to record with David and I'm trying to remember the kids' names, but we had to record with them while they were like the same age. Over 9 years, there was bound to be some changes.
Right.
So Carter and Craig had them record all of that stuff like within the first 2 seasons. So they always had like this plan. They always had that in mind from the beginning. We didn't know, but it was always like they had a plan in place. I think it's like the thing about the ending, which is, people go one way or the other, and they have very strong feelings about either way. I think that the wonderful thing is that like people cared that much. And I think for all of us, all we wanted was to entertain and like bring joy and happiness. And so I'm glad that people were with us until the end. And I hope that the majority of people enjoyed it.
I certainly did. So
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you.
You take another question? Yeah, go ahead.
Hello.
Hello. My name's Dennis. I'm from Pittsburgh.
Hello.
General knowledge.
General knowledge.
I hope everybody gets that reference that has seen How I Met Your Mother. Because of that, me and my coworkers go around doing that to each other. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. It's super cool. I was telling my wife I forgot my blue French horn, so well.
Okay.
My actual question, and I probably know the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Sure.
With the slap bets, is there any chance that Jason actually landed a legitimate slap on Neil?
I think they only did.
Oh, I told you.
Yeah. Is this your wife?
Yeah.
I'm pointing to you. I told you.
No, they look so realistic. Like, I feel like Neil took them.
Let's work this out, you guys.
There's a lot going on there, yeah.
This is a safe space. Let's work it out.
Sure.
I think that it was only all real. Slaps. I'm literally trying to remember. I think that like maybe if there was like more than like 5 takes, maybe they went to a fake out, but I think they were both like, we're going to do it for real. Yeah.
Jason.
Jason has big hands.
Jason's a big dude. And
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well,
yeah.
I just needed to know that because poor Neil got.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
You have another question? Yep.
Hi, Cobie.
Hi.
I'm Robert from California.
Hey, Robert.
I got the chance to meet you at Comic-Con during Stumptown many years ago.
Oh, nice.
And I also got to meet your husband, Tarim, when he was promoting his comic book. And I was just wondering, is there anything in the future for you guys to work together again? I know you guys worked on How I Met Your Mother and Why We're Killing Gunther and Boss Baby. So just anything.
We still have children, so it's sort of like this you go and I stay trade-off. So maybe when we're like in our swinging 60s, you'll see us somewhere together if we're lucky. But right now, nothing's planned.
What was it like working with him?
He was great. Yeah, he's a very talented writer, director, actor, and my favorite person. So yeah.
My favorite SNL cast.
Yeah. Oh, good. Wonderful. Happy to hear that.
Thank you.
Lovely to meet you. Again.
I had one more question. So
Yeah.
you had said that when you were doing the auditioning process for Maria Hill, that your husband had thought that it was Janet Van Dyne, that it was the Wasp.
Mm-hmm.
There's production art that shows that might have actually been the case. Do you know at all if Maria was changed from the Wasp?
I don't know. That was just sort of when we didn't know who it was, that was our guess. I think it was always supposed to be Maria because they wanted sort of, I don't know if they put it on the deleted scenes, but it used to be me like monologuing the beginning of the Avengers movie. Okay. Like we shot a sequence, like, here, this is what happened. And then like at the end of the film, it was like, so wasn't that crazy? There's a good reason they cut it. It was a very smart move. So I think it was always, my guess is they look alike, first of all, in terms of, costuming and the type that at that time they saw these women as. But my instinct is that it was always supposed to sort of be like a regular human second in command to Fury human. Yeah.
When you first suited up as Maria, so you mentioned how excited your husband was, just losing his mind. Oh, it could be the one, it could be this, could be this.
Yeah. When
you first suited up as Maria, your thoughts in that costume, and then your husband's thoughts when he first.
I don't think I'm going to answer the second part. But my thoughts were. It was a process. That has been one of the most interesting things as we all journey on. And when I say we journey on, I mean like humans through our evolution. Like when I started that film, it was like a super tight suit, like knee-high, high boots. Like you couldn't run in these boots. I had a pair for like presenting, and then I had a pair for like, oh, you have to do stunts now. And then the last Secret Invasion, I, was shot wearing a pair of jeans and a hoodie sweatshirt, and it's just like, it is this interesting evolution of women throughout all these films. And certainly the first movie was like truer to the comic books. It was truer to that world. I mean, all of the men too were like in there regalia.
Oh, right off the page.
Right.
Yeah, right off.
Yeah. So it was really fun to be in that establishing outfit, but it was a really fun kind of going through the design process of like, you know, the hemming and the details and the fabric choices. It was a really sort of artistic collaboration between like artist and designer. And that was a fun process to be a part of.
That's amazing.
But the jean and hoodie was much more comfortable. Much more comfortable.
No husband reaction? We can't get that from you?
Oh, no, sir. That's for me.
Alrighty,
that's for me.
It's my job to ask. Last question.
I know we all have our favorite episodes of How I Met Your Mother, and I'm sure you do too. I'm curious, what do you think the worst episode is?
Oh, what a great question. I'd like a poll on that. I don't even know. Whoa. The worst? Is there one that's jumping out for anyone here? I literally don't. Do you have one in mind? He's like, I've got a few. It was season 5, episode 4 sucked.
Obviously, the worst episode is when it ended because we couldn't watch you on the show anymore.
You little flirt. You little freaking home run just coming in here, closing it out. Bravo.
I also have a photo op with you later. I'll flirt with you more then.
Okay, great. I love it.
You said that was the last one?
Yeah, we're good. Sorry, we do have another panel coming up.
That was a great last moment. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Let's go with a fave. Do you have a fave Marvel project you've been in?
Oh, yeah.
Even Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We can count Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, God, it's so hard.
All right.
I really did love Winter Soldier.
That's the one I thought you were going to go with.
I really did. And it was like with the Russos for the first time. And it was just like, oh, we can be funny.
Yeah.
Oh, we can like make jokes and we can try bits. And I just love Mackie. I love Chris so much. They're so fun. So that's like the one I'm going to right now.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
What's coming up next for you? You got something coming up that we can look forward to?
Yes. I was in a film. We're going to TIFF in a couple weeks with it. It's called Sharp Corner. I was in another movie called Easy's Waltz, which is another indie film with Vince Vaughn and Pacino. Ever heard of him?
Nice.
Nice. Boo-boo-doo-boo-doo. Team Canada.
Team Canada. Folks, give it up for Cobie Smulders.
Thank you all so much for coming. Enjoy your day.
Hey there, this is Nolan North, and you are watching Fandom Spotlight. Good for you. Very proud of you. Now go watch more. Oh, and have fun and follow your fandom.